Good morning, friends and family, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you on the issue of fighting against international terrorism. Let me start with sharing an interesting fact with you. Think about this number, 38,345. That's a pretty big number. You're probably asking yourself, what could that number possibly mean? It could be the population of a small city or town, or the attendance at your local sporting event. Sadly, it isn't. This number represents the number of terrorist attacks that have occurred over a 40-year period between 1969 and 2009. We all can pretty much say that's a pretty large number. And when you hear that, you have to realize that terrorism is a threat to us all. As a former U.S. Marine in the early 80s, I became interested in terrorism and began to realize that we can't win the war against terrorism by simple military action alone. We needed to come up with some new ideas and some new methods. To this I say, we need to advance the cause of civilization globally. How can we do this? Well, there are three basic steps in doing this. We need to support structured governance worldwide. We need to increase educational opportunities and also encourage financial growth throughout the world. So, supporting good governance begins with representative government. People must have a view, must have a say in what happens in their government. And they also need the ability to change their leadership whenever possible. People also need freedom of the press so that they can share ideas with the world. Early in the Egyptian current arrests, one of the first things that the government did to suppress the people's ability to have a say was to shut down the internet and cell phone usage. Imagine if you couldn't communicate with your neighbor about what's going on in your community. But this tactic backfired. The people began to take to the street and to share information amongst themselves. We also need to support individual rights, respect for individual rights. The next thing that we need to do is we need to create economic opportunity. We need to open up businesses in countries where terrorists flourish, like Iraq, Sudan, and Afghanistan. One clear way that we can illustrate this is by sharing with you that if we don't create economic opportunities, people will find different ways to make money. One of the main ways that they've done this in Iraq was through the drug trade. The drug trade is a direct supporter of funneling money into the terrorist hand. The Taliban in Afghanistan was a major supporter of international terrorists. Next, we need to reduce unemployment. Chronic unemployment will create a breeding ground for hatred and mistrust. And this allows extremist ideology to flourish. We must replace the seeds of terrorism through unemployment with the idea that people can do better. How can we do this? That leads us to our next step. Improve education opportunity. Education provides understanding and a larger view of the world. Education also equips people with the tools that they need to rise above poverty and to understand what's happening in the larger community. Once people begin to see the world in a larger view, it's harder to hate people that you understand. We also need to promote tolerance throughout the world. Education is a key tool in supporting tolerance. Education teaches us how to look at the world differently, how to understand the different views that people might come for. It creates an opportunity for us all to understand and begin to work together. And education also fosters hope. In conclusion, fighting terrorism is a very complex and dangerous problem. What can we do? Well, again, as I said before, we need to advance the cause of civilization worldwide. We need to promote good governance. We need to increase educational and economic opportunities for people in all countries. Once we can do these things, we can lead people down the road of peace, towards peace. Excuse me. We need to. I'm sorry, I got a little lost. And lastly, we must champion educational access all worldwide. Remember, the key to this is hope. We as citizens of the world must foster hope throughout the world. In the words of Martin Luther, everything that is done in the world is done by hope. You must be the catalyst for hope. It's our job to share the hope with the world and encourage people to work together to solve their problems. This is how we fight terrorism. I challenge you to go out and advocate with your government, advocate with your peers to support hope, education, economic opportunity, and good governance worldwide. Those are the things that we must do as private citizens to end the war against terrorism internationally. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.